Hello and welcome to the Collector's Impact. Today we've returned to the Field of Dreams, also known as the planes from Unstable. I was going to say Unhinged, but this is the Unstable planes, to talk about some Magic bulk submissions, or at least one submission that I'm sending in here at the end of February 2021. I want to go ahead and squeeze this in. I've been meaning to get this out to PSA, but just haven't had the time, and since the month is changing, it's going to be March very soon, they might update the prices, they might make some changes. Companies, especially PSA, is known to do things like that. So just to mitigate any risk, I want to go ahead and get these out the door at their current pricing structure, just in case that changes. I don't have any information that it will or not. Little rumors are going around, but take them with a grain of salt. Anyway, today I have 65 cards that I'm sending in, and the theme behind these cards is speculation. So these are all, well, they're not all, they're half reserve list and the other half are modern. The reserve list cards in the stack are cards that I'm just speculating on. Most of them are not valuable at all right now. So the key there is I'm sending them in for the bulk submission, paying the 10 bucks, and waiting a year or maybe even 18 months or more at this point, considering that for whatever reason PSA is still really behind. I know people are sending in more, but they're supposed to be hiring more, so hopefully over these next few months they kind of come to some sort of equilibrium and start getting stuff out the door faster. That's what myself and I'm sure everyone else wants as well. But in the meantime, these are cards that I can stand to be away from for a year or longer. And yeah, with that, let's jump in. So the first one here is the Sandals of Abdal. I don't even know how to say that. Abdaya or Abdallah. Yeah. Someone out there probably knows how to say that a lot better than I do, so pardon me for butchering that. Anyway, this is a reserve list card. I have two of them. These are from Arabian Nights, and these are the only ones that I can remember, at least, that is in this stack that are not mint condition. But considering they're really old, they're from, of course, set from 1993, the very first expansion of the game. You know, they can be a PSA 6 or whatever, and I'd be happy with that. I'd be totally fine with that. Now, the rest of these, I am going for 9s and 10s. So we've got two conch horns, not shells, conch horns from Fallen Empires. Yeah. These are actually starting to tick up in price. So again, it's February of 2021, and right now these cards are around $10 to $15 in mint condition. So who knows where they're going to be in a year from now, especially in graded condition, or even further into the future. And on that same note, two Thrall champions. These Thralls are really, they're kind of interesting creatures. I used to run them in a deck way back in the day and had 4 of these guys in there. I mean, it's kind of inefficient, but these are beautiful pack mint versions of that card. Next, Demonic Hordes. Centering's not perfect, but it's mint condition. All of these revised cards are. Kudzu, I've got 2 of those. 2 Kudzus going. This one here, 3 Rock Hydras. So these are kind of the B-list cards from revised. The Veteran Bodyguard, got 2 of those. This always reminds me of like Fabio or something. It's kind of bizarre looking, right? Like you know, hey there. It's just weird. Next is 3 Rainbow Veils. Now these cards, you know, back when I was actually opening packs of Fallen Empires, these were pretty hard to pull. Like, this is not an easy card to get. I only had 1 in my collection, and I have a 2-row box that's full of not Arabian Nights, that's full of Fallen Empires, and so these are pretty scarce. So these are ones that I purchased. They're in pretty pack mint condition. Gonna get them slabbed up. Next is the Mystic Decree. This one is from Homelands, and it's all creatures lose flying and island walk. So it actually really reminds me of a card called Gravity Sphere from Legends. That's a red card though. and I think it costs 1 less, but it just makes all creatures lose flying. I mean, this card is pretty awesome. It has some good potential, I think, to be a more desired card from especially Homelands, which right now is kind of like just not that popular of a set. Sarah Aviary, this again now for Homelands, but the artwork on this is beautiful. That's really my main draw to it. I mean, it has a cool ability. All creatures with flying get 1/1, +1/+1, but the casting cost kind of diminishes it. But it is overall the beauty of the card kind of wins out for me. And it's the same kind of thing with these Willow Priestesses. This card's art is pretty unique for that time period. And just the way that the body and border of the cards look from the Homelands, Fallen Empires, Ice Age kind of era is very different from the rest of the game. Even before they changed the borders entirely, like this is that weird period between the really nice looking ones. Everybody knows they're really nice from the Four Horsemen sets. From back in the day, and then they had this, and then it stepped up to the more modern looking one of the old template. Then they changed it to be more and more fancy looking in the Mirrodin and 8th edition and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, jumping to alliances, you got Nature's Wrath and Phantasmal Sphere, both very random reserve list cards. Same with this. Yeah, it's just, I mean, this is actually, the Excavations is coming up in popularity because it is kind of a unique card. So that might be a good one for the future for sure. I mean, these all might, unless Wizards abolishes the reserve list, then these would be trash. A lot of them would, at least, because of the power creep. But anyway, that's another conversation. But Title Control from Alliances, that's really cool, that crab. I mean, come on. Now, the Winter's Night, this one is the last normal one that I have from Alliances that's going. And then I've got a couple of unique cards that I found in my collection here. These are way off-centered cards, as you can tell there. And there's actually a pretty good market for that level of miscut or misprinted cards from this era. Back in this day, Wizards didn't have as bad of quality control issues as they do now, so cards that are out of alignment like that, especially in mint condition and reserve list to boot, they can pack a nice price tag. So having them graded, especially if it came back with a high grade, which it should theoretically, because these are, you know, pack mint condition. Yeah, I got a Sheltered Valley that way, and a Winter's Night that way. So 3 cards that I found that are miscut. So I'm kind of eager to see how they grade those. Next, Silver Wyvern from, what is that, Stronghold. So this is one of the only other Stronghold reserve list cards that I actually had. I have a Mox Diamond, but that's at PSA right now. God knows when I'll get it. And then we get into Urza Saga. This is the last block before they canceled the reserve list. So you can see we're going to hit our changing point soon. So the Morphlings, these are pretty sweet, pretty mint. I'm pretty optimistic about them. Morphling is actually one of my favorite cards from that block, and right now it's very underappreciated. As of the filming of this video, it's really not worth a lot of money, $10, $15. It's just not popular right now, but I think it could be a hidden sleeper, personally. Alright, now we've got 2 foil Greater Morphlings from the Unhinged set. These aren't mint condition. It's kind of hard to find the foils in mint condition, so I'm more curious to see what they grade it as. Plus, I just really like them. As a fan of Morphling, having these foils slabbed will be pretty cool. Next, we do get into the more modern stuff that I'm sending in. Now these, don't judge too hard. I have kind of a weird rationale behind them, but we'll check them out. So Order of Midnight, this is an uncommon, but when it came out in Throne of Eldraine, it was a pretty popular card. I mean, the artwork on this is gorgeous. Really the theme for me with a lot of the modern stuff, since it's not reserve list, is the presentation of the card itself, the artwork, the rarity of finding it in the particular version that I'm submitting it in. Like this is the fairy tale border with, you know, foil. These are just, their pull rate is not very high, even in the collector box. Next, let's see, 1, 2, 3, and 4. I have a whole playset of baby Godzillas from Ikoria. So these, I'm a huge fan of this art. The card is kind of a weird one. I mean, it's like some frog. But man, that art and presentation on this card is beautiful. It's only uncommon, but I think you could only get them in the collector box, and if they were available in the others, they're pretty dang rare. So these are mint condition. Next, we've got King Caesar from Ikoria as well. This one's a Godzilla family. Yeah, so this one's packed fresh. I pulled it myself from a pack. I do find that buying them offline, even from reputable online dealers, like really big name ones, or buying it off of like eBay or TCG Player where it says mint, you get it and it has little scratches, it has little imperfections that make it near mint, and it's fine for use, absolutely fine for use, but for grading, these kind of things, for me, it's either like you pull it yourself or you're taking a huge risk buying it. And there's the Space Godzilla with the band name. So this one is the non-foil version, so it's worth the $10 to have it graded. That's fine. Next, this one is pretty much of no value to anyone right now, but I really like that artwork. I'm kind of a fan of sharks in general. Maybe not too much, but this art, this presentation, man, whatever. You know, this artist, who is this? This artist, Mathis Kalrus, they deserve some pretty big kudos for that art. It's super captivating. It's one of the nicest cards that I opened from Ikoria. It made me go, whoa, okay. Yeah, that is so nice. Next, this is kind of similar from M21. This 9 Lives. The artwork on this card is incredible. I'm a huge fan of cats anyway. I'm a cat person. I mean, I love dogs too, so it's not one of those kind of things where it's either one or the other. I love all of them. But this card, my God, I mean, all the different types of cats, big, you know, cats, and then the little house cat is the main one. It's so cool. Then we jump to Kaldheim. I skip a few sets and go straight to Kaldheim because this Kaldheim is where I recently opened some stuff, so I wanted to go ahead and send these in. These are all those double lands. So these are, I mean, they're gorgeous, especially that. That one right there is my favorite. Good Lord, is it nice. So there's that, and then here's a full art, not full art, here's a alternate art version of this Vega the Watcher, the good old owl card. It is beautiful. So we got Valky, the God of Lies. This one's non-foil, but it is full art, and it has, you know, the devil version of him on the back. And then we've got the alternate art foil version with the devil on the back. And Allrun's Epiphany, full art foil, which I opened this box, this collector box on the channel if you want to see when I originally opened these and the reaction to it. It was pretty fun. Doomscar, full art foil. Tyrite Sanctum, full art foil. And then, these are speculative for me, for sure. These are the art cards. There's a few art cards that I went ahead and chose out to send in for grading and slabbing. I mean, they are mint condition, and I just think they'd look really good in a slab. I don't think that a lot of people are doing that, and if they ever do become popular, having some on hand is going to be pretty good. So that's my highly speculative play with some of the modern stuff, are these art cards. I may be crazy, but it's worth the gamble to me. I think they're going to hold up better than a lot of people think. Anyway, thank you very much for coming by. I really appreciate it. If you liked the video, please give it a like. Please subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Also, I have made some other videos like this, so check them out on the channel if you have some time and want to see more stuff like this. And thank you very much. and I'll see you later.